Okay. Welcome, everybody. Elisa Meredith here. And I'm not alone today. I have my friend Kathy here. She's our very first guest on this show. And I'm very excited to have you. Thanks for joining.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be your first guest. This is so
Ah.
exciting.
And thank you for coming. I hope that we'll have a huge audience today. But if we don't, it's okay. We're going to have fun anyway.
That's right.
Yeah, so just a little bit about Kathy. She's a Pinterest consultant and account manager who helps businesses grow their audiences, leads, and sales using Pinterest marketing. Wonderful. She launched her consulting business after personally experiencing how powerful Pinterest was as a driver of traffic to her own blog and small online shop. So, the small online shop is part of why we are here today talking about Pinterest for e-commerce.
That's right. That's how I came to Pinterest. I discovered Pinterest as an online shop owner, and it was just so incredibly powerful. I found so many new customers and so many new people found me. I started talking about it. One thing led to another, and now I'm doing more consulting than selling in an online shop.
Oh, wonderful. Good for you. What can we ask? What is your online shop? What kind of things do you sell?
So it is no longer, it doesn't
Okay.
exist any longer, but
Okay.
it was all handmade stuff. I used to make like wall hangings and boho decor. And it really came out of when my kids went away to college and I was helping them decorate dorm rooms and that sort of a thing. And their friends liked what I was making. And, it was just like a logical progression. I opened the shop, I started a blog. That was really, really fun during that time. And then I learned all about Pinterest and here we are.
Here we are indeed. Okay, wonderful. So let us jump in. I want to start with some of the basics because sometimes people will still ask, because Pinterest is kind of the last thing on people's list sometimes. How do you sell on Pinterest? And we're talking about not just like how do you make money on Pinterest? That's a different answer. Like, how do you sell?
Sure. So I think of Pinterest as, for e-commerce businesses in particular, a great place to meet an audience that probably wouldn't have found you otherwise. They're on there searching for a solution to a problem. They're looking for products. And as you know, like Pinterest is becoming even more and more of a shopper's platform. There's a lot more shopping happening there. But the way that an e-commerce business can do that is, a lot of different ways. You have to think about sort of where you want to meet your customer. And it can be as simple as if you're a new e-commerce biz and you're just getting on Pinterest and you want to build your email list. Maybe it's the first time someone gets to know who you are, even, learns about your business. But maybe you're further down the line and maybe you want to sell a product. So you can tag your products in your pins. Maybe you provide free information so people can get to know you in the way of a blog or YouTube videos or podcasts. That's also a way you can use Pinterest to sell.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about some of the options for types of pins.
Sure.
Okay. So we have product pins. How would you define those and how do we make those?
So product pins can be several different things. So if you have connected your catalog, say you're a Shopify store and you have connected your catalog to Pinterest, you're going to automatically get a feed that comes over and it's going to be little square pins. So that's one form of shoppable pins. And you're going to have a shop tab on your home page that people can go right into your shop.
Let's not move off from that yet because I have a question. Sure. Okay. So what image do they choose, right? So if you have, say, a Shopify store, you could have 5 different images. Do they choose the first image? Do they cycle through them as they pull the feed? How does that work?
My experience has been it's generally the first image. So, and I think most sellers are putting their best image up first.
Yeah, makes sense.
If you're a fashion brand, it's that great front on shot. I think that most of the time that's what I see coming over with the feed.
Okay. And then it automatically is creating a title and description for you. Is that pulling the actual like product name and the product description as it shows on the page?
It is. And what's cool about that is that as you update your shop, it will update on Pinterest because that feed is coming every day or however you set it up. So it will stay active and up to date. So inventory will be active if you make a price change, if you change the title. And that's why I tell my e-commerce clients to make sure that your title on your website is also keyword rich.
Yes.
So when it makes its way over to Pinterest, it's still going to be user friendly there.
Yeah. Now, I know Shopify makes it really easy to do the shopping pins and the shopping feed. Have you tried it with other platforms?
So I haven't from the perspective of that easy integration of the feed.
So
it
easy,
is doable on other platforms, but really more and more people are using Shopify. It's so, so much more the thing that people are going to because they know how easy the integration is. And Shopify, you referred to it being, easy to work with Pinterest. They have an app that you just download and it just does everything for you. And it is so user friendly. But there are other places I've worked with, like Squarespace, e-com businesses, and you just have to decide how you want to set up your feed. If you even want to have a feed, I'm working with a brand new Squarespace company, e-com brand right now, and they just have a few products, so we're not worrying about it.
That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Okay. Do your customers, do your clients find that people are clicking on those and buying? How are they working?
I think they are. I think those pins are sort of I almost say like they're in the background, right? They're like not an optimized pin. They're not showing up quite as much in someone's home feed, but they are there. And if someone is searching for something, there's always in their search, there'll be like a shop, almost like a little shop tab off to the left, or an image that you can click on that takes you to like a giant shopping page. And those images will show up there. And we can talk about this in a minute. I do encourage people to also create optimized pins for their products.
Okay. Very good. So let's talk about that then. The regular pins that we think about, which, either like a lifestyle image, or maybe it has text on it, maybe it doesn't. What do you recommend for products?
So I encourage people to take their product images and then turn them into what we know about, optimized pins, the correct sizing, and using maybe some video if that's possible, using lifestyle, show your product in use. Maybe don't use that front facing picture that's coming over on your feed. Use something else so that it doesn't look like the exact same thing. Use text overlay so that it gives a little bit more information. So for those types of pins, you can link right to your shop to that item. Done.
Great. Okay.
You can also do roundups and best ofs and collections and things like that link to your shop or to a collection on your shop. One thing to note is we know that Pinterest wants fresh pins and new URLs. So I just like to say, be careful pinning to your general shop page too often, because the more you use that URL, it's not fresh anymore. So get creative with collections and things like that. Yeah, definitely.
I think one rookie mistake that we all probably have seen is that people link everything to their homepage. You don't want to do that. And especially if we're talking products, you want to get them to the page where they can buy the thing. That's a good user experience. That's what Pinterest wants. Pinterest is actually looking to make sure that the thing in the pin is actually on the page. So just make it easy for people to buy from you.
Exactly.
Okay. So what about idea pins? Where do they come in to selling on Pinterest?
So idea pins are, doing great right now. Pinterest loves idea pins. And so what I suggest for e-commerce brands is get creative with your products. Get creative by doing a collection, how to use something, how to make something, how to, just depending if it's a fashion brand, how to wear something 5 ways. I think that it is very doable to use idea pins. And you talked about this the other day, we are gaining the ability to tag products on idea pins. It's newer, it's only on your phone, but it is doable. And I think that is huge, especially since we can't link to our shop on an idea pin. It makes them shoppable, which is super cool.
I could not agree more. I was very, very excited to see that come out. And of course, you can link to affiliate links as well on a few little limited platforms, but that will expand as well. So you mentioned that the shoppable pins, they live on a tab on your on your profile. So you'll have, I think it's shop, created, and saved is the order, right? Then it shows up shop first. So with idea pins, of course, what you generally get from that is a follow, right? Or and then checking out your profile. So when they check out your profile, there's your shop tab front and center, which is really great for
awesome. Yeah.
sellers.
I mean, it gets them there, right? Your idea pin gets them there, and then they see what you have to offer.
That's where I see like the real superpower of idea pins for e-commerce. That and the product tagging can't beat it.
No, it's amazing.
Yeah. Now, what about verified merchant status? What is that? Should I do it?
So the verified merchant program was rolled out, I want to say like maybe last spring by Pinterest, and it's essentially them reviewing your shop and giving you sort of this vote of approval, right? Like you get this little check next to your profile, and it basically tells shoppers that you've been reviewed by Pinterest, you're a verified merchant, you're trusted. So I do encourage people to apply for it. You can just go through help on Pinterest, and it will take you through the process. I suggest that people don't be discouraged if you are not approved right away. Just sort of go back and figure out, what you need to change. Pinterest doesn't always give you a lot of specifics about what you didn't do correctly.
Right.
But things like make sure you have an email address that is for your shop, it's dedicated, and make sure you have a great, clear shipping and return policy, just things like that, like customer service. You want everything to be clear so that Pinterest can approve you for use.
Yeah, and when you mentioned having an email that's customized for your shop, that means the domain name. So don't have a Gmail address, have an at kathyhaflin.com email address.
Yes.
That's what they're looking for.
Yes.
It's basically a way to verify your legitimacy. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, excellent.
Yeah, and it's good to do, but I also tell people, I was talking to someone the other day that was still waiting for approval, and I was like, that's not the end of the world. You can still sell on Pinterest, but you should apply if you're an e-commerce brand, and it may take a little while, but you'll get there.
Yeah, very good. Okay. The other thing I noticed with verified brands is those are the brands whose products show up in tagged pins. So if you've noticed that sometimes maybe a decorator will share a pin that's like a picture of a living room. They haven't added any product tags to it, but Pinterest did. And I've checked those out, and everyone I've looked at has come from a verified merchant. So, there are benefits there, if you can get it to work.
Yeah.
Okay. So can we talk more about, because we talked about before, like making an optimized pin or a pin that works, and that may not just be a straight product shot. So what are you finding works? Are there any trends in designs or fonts or anything like that?
I think that, people are very visual, which is why they love Pinterest. And I think that it's just really important, and you touched on this too, to be very clear on your pin, what they're going to get when they click to go and visit your shop. Also, I think it's always important, add a call to action, click to shop, click to read more, whatever the action you want them to take, tell them. The other thing that's so important is that you're using your keywords on those pins, on your text overlay, in your pin title, and then in your pin description. Pinterest's going to read your pin, literally. And that is how they're going to serve it to the right people. So I would say a lovely image, lifestyle is great. Show it from different angles. People want to know what the thing is that you're selling. They want to know what it's going to be like in their lives. So don't make them guess. Give it to them on the pin. Put your, clear, not too many words, text overlay, easy to read. Use your brand colors. Use your branding, your logo, and make it clear to them what's going to happen when they click on their pin.
Very good. In your experience working with shop owners, are there certain kinds of products that sell better on Pinterest than others?
I don't know. I've worked with all different fashion, gardening, and I think it's just all about, understanding the size of your audience, being realistic about what type of traffic you're going to drive for your product. Are you providing a blog as well, or a podcast, or YouTube, or some way of free content that is helping people get to know you? I think it has a lot to do with that. And there's seasonality, obviously. Right now, anyone selling something for back to school is very likely getting a ton of clicks, right?
For sure.
And next, very soon, holiday is going to start happening. So I would say that, not so much product types, but I believe if your products are on your own claim domain, you're going to probably see higher level of engagement and activity than if you're on a third party, like an Etsy shop or something like that. I just think that, Pinterest is going to favor that claim domain a little bit more, but that's not to say you can't sell from another platform as well.
Okay. So is there a certain price point or anything else we can point to that is apt to make your product more successful on Pinterest?
I mean, as a user, I would say, a product that is priced at a lower range is going to be an easier, quick sale, right? If you have a very expensive, one-of-a-kind item, someone's going to take longer to get to know you and get to know your product. So I think there is a sweet spot, just like really anywhere, right? Like, when it comes to shopping, you are going to buy more if you go to a shop that has lower priced items than if it's a higher priced item. But that's not to say you can't sell any range. There's just going to be a learning curve, or a get to know you, get to trust you with maybe a more expensive product.
Yeah. So maybe it's more like get them to your site to get on your email list and then sell. Right. Okay. So do you have any specific tips for Etsy sellers? Because when you mentioned, that you had a site that was like one of a kind items, it seems like those have some complications on Pinterest. Talk to me about that.
Yeah. So absolutely. There are so many Etsy shops that are using Pinterest, and you should. That is amazing. I encourage Etsy sellers to make sure they have optimized their Etsy shop for Pinterest users. So I often say, look at how you're titling your products, and look at your description, and look at your images. Do you have some vertical images on there so that when somebody wants to save it for later, is it vertical, and will that mean it's optimized more for Pinterest than another shot? So I first suggest that they set their Etsy shop up for success with Pinterest. It is tricky, you're right, when it comes to one-of-a-kind items, because there is, if you pin about it and then someone clicks and it's gone, what is Etsy going to do with that, right? So it used to be that Etsy would show you other products from that seller, or like the product that's now gone. More recently, I have seen instances of showing other products from anyone that are sort of like that. So it is sort of a risk you run. It's the same as putting pins for time limited items, because the nature of Pinterest being that it's evergreen. You could say something for an event, and then the event's well past and the pin's still out there. So it is interesting. A suggestion, one thing you could do on Etsy is you can always pin to your shop if it's something that is one of a kind. And again, though, we go back to that, it's reusing the same URL, so it becomes less fresh. You could also create collections. So if you create collections, even though your one of a kind item is gone, there might be something in the collection for that person.
That's a smart idea. I like that.
Yeah. So I would say that's my best tip for that, because you are correct. If you create specific pins for a specific one of a kind and it's gone, it causes a little bit of a problem. But that's also a great reason to create optimized pins that are more around a collection or a type of item. So then you can pin to that and you're less likely to end up in a, empty spot.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, what about claiming your site. So you can claim several websites. You can claim Etsy. You can claim YouTube and Instagram. What are the benefits of claiming, say, your Etsy site for selling?
So the benefits of it is that it just means that you are getting credit for any time that item is pinned. So it just means that your account is being connected to you if someone pins your item, and you get credit for it. Otherwise, if you haven't claimed it, it just looks like another product out there. So it's just a good idea, and it takes 5 seconds to claim those items.
That's right. That's right. So you mentioned some trends already, the back to school, the holiday season, it's all started already. How do you take advantage of that? Like, let's say you have a product that really is good for any time of the year. How do you take advantage of the trends to kind of promote those especially?
Sure. So I would just I love the Pinterest Trends tool. So I would use
Trends.pinterest.com.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I would use that to sort of research your product, research your niche, see when it really is, literally it's a graph, see when it is peaking and when people are looking for that product specifically, and then plan a month, 2 months, even 3, they say 45 days out ahead of that trend, and start pinning about it so that when the peak actually hits, your pin is indexed and it's ready. And I've been telling people, if you feel like you're late to a trend, but you really want to get pinning, use an idea pin, because an idea pin is going to go up very quickly. And you don't have to wait as long for it to be indexed. So, say you just came up with a brilliant idea for a back to school and it's happening right now. Do an idea pin. Don't worry about that you're behind on that. Just do an idea pin and it will get up there.
Okay. Good idea. Okay. So this question I'm just going to throw out at you. What would you say to someone who is an online seller, has never used Pinterest? What would be your advice to them?
So when I start with brand new business on Pinterest and e-commerce business, I tell people it is a great place to find new customers. It just is.
Yes.
And you can start on Pinterest for free. Get on there, create an optimized profile, make sure you have a business account, make sure you claim your domain and all of your things, your social media, and just start pinning, pin your blog, get your idea pins going. That is the fastest way to start to build an audience, is to get your idea pins and your video, use some video, and, get it going. And then, if you want to make it faster, you can definitely run some ads, and you can run a fairly low cost consideration, used to be called traffic ad, to sort of help build that traffic. I try to be super realistic. In the beginning, you just have to think of it as, top of funnel, meeting new people who are searching for what you're offering. And then as they get to know you, they can become paying customers. But the most important thing is get your business account set up. Make sure you do some great keyword research so that you know what your customers are searching for on Pinterest and what words they're using.
Yeah.
And then start using optimized pins. Get to it.
Okay. Keep doing that. So I think that is wonderful advice. And when you're talking about sharing your blog, you're talking about each individual blog post needs to go on Pinterest.
Yeah, absolutely. I do. And, not everybody likes to blog, and I get that. I don't always love to blog, but there are other ways to provide content. If you love video, do a YouTube channel, put that on your claim domain, a link, and then share that. And my advice is create multiple pins for that one piece of content, drip them out over time, over the week or so, 1 pin a day, so that it's just circulating to your most relevant board. And then in 10 days or so, you can go ahead and pin it to another board if you would like. And you will start to see traffic to those boards or to those pins.
Yeah, we definitely found that the most interaction you're going to get is from that very first time your pin goes out. So yeah, make it to the right board for sure. The idea about the YouTube video. So if you have a YouTube channel, you can download your own video and then upload it to Pinterest, which is a great way to get video, which does really well on Pinterest.
It really is. It really is. And like, if you are on Instagram Reels, or if you do TikTok, there are ways to download those and put those up on Pinterest as an idea pin, and they do really well. My advice is just get the watermarks off there.
Yeah. Usually, especially if you make the video first and then you intend to reuse it on all platforms, then you kind of avoid that challenge.
Yes,
Yeah, because Pinterest has said, like, we don't want the watermarks on there. We don't we definitely don't want links on them. So and Instagram is the same way. Like, they don't want to advertise TikTok. I get that.
They don't.
I get that. Okay. So any last tips or suggestions for our viewers?
So I think, we are about to head into a really busy season.
Yes.
And I think that for e-commerce brands in particular, it's pretty busy. So we are still far enough out from the holidays that everybody can sort of plan some content towards that and start setting up their products and be ready when people start shopping for the holidays. So that's my advice. I think, get your account optimized, take a good look at what you're doing, make sure your keywords are up to date. And I think you'll be in great shape.
Okay. And if we wanted help doing that, we would go to kathyheflin.com.
Sure. I would love to help you. I do startup services. So I help people get going on their own and get them on their way. And I can help you with an audit, whatever you need.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you for being my very first guest on this new show. And thank you to those watching the replay. Appreciate your support. And we'll see you again soon.
Thanks so much for having me.
Bye.